Imagine being told that because of an ancient religious law, you might be expected to marry your late brother's wife.
You're kidding, right? He's kidding.
Where does an idea like that come from? And how could that be the basis of a movie love story?
I'm sorry.
Well, that's kind of an easy
It's
one.
no offense, Leia.
When I was about in 5th grade, I heard my father talk about a relative. And he said, thank God such and such has children because I think an uncle doesn't have to marry her. And I thought to myself, that's the oddest thing I've ever heard in my life. So when I started writing, you always want to find the hook for a love story. And this is a great hook.
It's a pretty complicated little story. It's about a Hasidic girl, who's a very religious girl, who ends up marrying her brother-in-law. And so I move into his world, and I'm still sort of a part of, still very much a part of my other world.
Wasn't expecting company.
Or a wife.
It's
nice.
Romeo and Juliet, right? It's two people from two totally different worlds who aren't supposed to be allowed to be together. We don't die at the end, which is always good.
There are completely diametrically opposed areas in their own faith, so that they might as well be, you know, two aliens getting married.
This particular story, the two people forced into a kind of a couple and having absolutely no romantic attraction to each other at all, and it creeps up on them. I have to say that just as a woman, it's one of my favorite themes.
It was a difficult picture to make for a lot of reasons, but mainly it had so many scenes. The work never stopped. We were always starting a new scene, lighting a new scene, doing multiple setups for a new scene. So it became a very, you know, just demanding and exhausting picture. We never had any leisurely days.
What was great about working with Hallmark is they really wanted to come to New York and sort of do this as realistic as possible.
For filmmakers, is it gives you this incredibly beautiful, glorious canvas to work in. And that makes it really hard for you to work there because it's noisy, it's energetic, it's loud, it's crazy. We never could have found a rooftop like we found. I know we could never have found a cemetery like the cemetery we found. So I think it's a big plus, and it adds a lot to the film.
While the cemetery had just the right look, it also had a significant drawback. It was adjacent to one of the city's busiest rail lines. So Harris Yulin's poignant graveside message was interrupted. And interrupted again. And again. And again. Getting the right location sometimes took creative problem solving. The owner of a historic brownstone, for example, initially was not interested in having it used for the party sequence. However, when a small part for the owner's daughter became available,
Closing time. Almost 11.
5 more minutes.
so did the brownstone. And for the ethnic neighborhood street where Leia lived and shopped,
Now, we didn't go to an actual real neighborhood because it's very difficult to shoot in those neighborhoods, and they don't like people to come in there and shoot. So we would find a street that was sort of like it and then recreate it.
it was important to the filmmakers that the rich traditions and customs of Leia's world be portrayed as accurately as possible. In addition to having a technical advisor available, writer Penina Goldstein spent a great deal of time on the set.
Did we get it?
And
No, we didn't get
Penina,
it.
who is herself an Orthodox Jew, it was almost like a technical advisor to us. So she was incredibly helpful to us in terms of having things be accurate, in terms of having the right props, the right kind of things in the home, how things should be done.
Penina, who wrote Loving Leia as a play, then adapted it for the movie, could also offer insight to the characters she had created.
Well, Leia's a compilation of a lot of people, religious, secular. What I like about her, or I love about her actually, is she has a quiet spirituality. There's something really beautiful about her that I find her very, very special, and I'm very protective over her. Jake is a young man who has everything set up and he's on a path. So he doesn't have time to be spontaneous or to feel those things. If it works into his schedule, fantastic. If it doesn't, it's not gonna play.
But he's quick on his feet. Not always so smart, but he has a quick way out of everything.
When Leia enters, it's really a jolt because it's not the norm, and he's now really feeling. And this is an unsettling thing, not to be in control of his emotions. Lauren Ambrose is Leia. She encompasses her completely. I am over the moon. I'm over the moon to see her come off the page.
Lauren Ambrose brings everything to it. First of all, her performance is extraordinary. I mean, marvelous performance. It is full of depth, full of truth.
She's probably the sweetest woman I've ever worked with. And on top of that, she's an amazing talent.
I've been a fan of Lauren Ambrose for years. When they offered me the part and they said that I'd be playing her mother, I jumped at it because she's a great actress.
There's so much intelligence and thought to what she does and it doesn't show on screen in terms of, you don't see the seams, you don't see the wheels turning. She's wonderful. We got really lucky with her.
Adam Kaufman is the epitome of what every mother wants their son to be and to look like, and in their minds envision.
It's been good for me to work with him because I get really like intense about stuff, and he's kind of a good balance for that. So that's been good.
But what's great about Adam is, he really has so much depth to his work, and his comic timing's terrific. He really knows how to tell a joke. He really understands the character, and he makes the right choices.
Susie Essman now defines the Jewish mother. Tough, ballsy, passionate. She embraces Jewish mothers that really love their children no matter what, and will fight to make sure that they do the right thing.
She doesn't even need to act. We just put that wig on her, and she's Malka.
When I first read the script, I thought, oh, I love this woman. She's so tough, but so loving. I mean, there is nothing more important to her than her children. And the line that I read that really got to me is when in one of the scenes towards the end, when I'm telling Leia to go back to Jake, and I say to her,
a mother, you should only find out soon. Is only as happy as her saddest child. I want you to be happy.
And the first time I read that, I wept.
You were happy, right?
Mercedes Ruehl. We got so lucky with Mercedes Ruehl. It was like Stradivarius playing at a square dance.
Well, that is a tough role that Mercedes Ruehl has taken on. It's Janice, Jake's mom, and it's a hard role because she is a loving mother, and yet she lost a son, and she lost a son even before he passed away, and there's a whole bunch of guilt, a whole bunch of remorse.
Oh, when we sent the script to Mercedes, we sort of gave her the option of playing either one of these mother roles, and we kind of thought she might go for the larger part, and she very, very definitely wanted to play Janice, the smaller role.
My agent said, look at Malka, dear. I don't know if it's cast yet, and it's a little bit larger role. And I went, oh, let me see Malka, Oh, yes, a few more pages. But then I read the whole thing very carefully, and I found that I liked the subtlety of the character of Janice much more. She kind of stands out in vivid and sometimes uncomfortable relief. But what I like about her is a great sincerity, a simplicity, She's a good woman.
For the Oscar-winning actress, There was one scene that seemed to capture Janice's personality.
I went, but I couldn't do it.
The scene that I liked most when I read it, and I thought, oh, this will be fun, is the scene where she describes to Leia, her daughter-in-law, that she's a terrible cook. I liked her for that, and I liked the fact that she was just very matter-of-fact about it, very droll about it, and very self-accepting. I don't cook. And I related.
For Adam Kaufman, a different dinner scene was special.
There's another scene that takes place in my apartment at dinner with Malka. She's pretty much on to us that we're not really, that we're sleeping in separate bedrooms and everything, but we're trying to keep up this, charade.
Leia's gonna make a great mom, just as you have. And what a cook.
But you're still the best, Mama.
Yes, you are.
Are you saying I'm better than your wife?
I don't have an answer for that one.
One of the writer's favorite moments came in the final scene.
We're going for a short ride. And one of my favorite lines in this movie has always been,
Things happen when you're around.
and I love the idea that they're all together as a family.
I think I'm growing on them.
At that moment, Malka is trying to say, this is your moment. Don't mess it up, either one of you.
I think the audience is going to be smart enough to realize that after they get married and they see how different their lives are, you figure out pretty quickly they're going to fall in love. And the hard thing about this movie is how do you make the fact that there's not going to be a big surprise ending when they do fall in love, make that fun?
You have to first start with a friendship and respect. And from that grows this attraction. The attraction has to be there to begin with. But it does grow even stronger when you actually start caring about somebody. And then it blossoms. And because if one believes in the divine spirit that God brought these two together, then nothing could you can't mess it up.
Well, what I really love about it is, it's sort of like a romantic comedy with a soul.
I really want to give my hat off to Hallmark for taking a type of project like this and having the wherewithal to put it on, to find it past the so-called religion part of it and seeing it as a love story. Because ultimately it is, and ultimately everybody wants to know, how did you meet somebody? Was it coincidental? Was it meant to be? Was it just, I had nobody better? So there you go, and it ended up lasting. And then it begs the question, maybe it was meant to be.
I love you.